Hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to bring you guys a scheme that I had been using online with pretty good success. It was a lot of fun. I was just trying out different stuff, went into the pistol playbook, and found this formation. I used to run it a lot back whenever NCAA was popular and still coming out. It's a really fun formation to run, and it still works pretty well in Madden, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys. It's all based around in the pistol weak slot formation, these three plays with the auto motion coming out the backfield from the running back on the auto motion flat. So you've got the three plays: a motion flood, Y stick, and Z under. Z under being my favorite. I'll go over that one first and foremost. That's more or less the base play out of this. The other plays that I like to run are shallow cross. It's a really good play. You got a wheel from the slot. You got a wheel out the backfield, or not so much a wheel, but it's kind of, I guess, a fade out the backfield. It's a really good route. I like it a lot. You can run the lead read option if you have a mobile quarterback. I had been using the Giants when I was running this scheme because I wanted three good receivers, and I was trying to cut down on my reliability on user catching. So the Giants don't really have anyone who can dominantly user catch throughout the game. Ruben Randall's their best bet, and he's not really tall enough to do it in my opinion. He's only like 6'2". So I'd pick them. They worked really well with this scheme, but you can definitely use someone with a scrambling quarterback like the Niners or the Seahawks or whoever you really want. Other plays, corner strike is a really good play. You find it in a lot of formations. Really good beating zone as well as beating man if they don't have purple zones on the outside and aren't expecting it. Y cross flood is another really good play with the deep cross from the slot receiver, and you've got the post route from the right, and I like to create a little makeshift screen coming out the backfield. And then the halfback dive, last but not least, is your kind of core running play if they're not respecting the box and spreading the defense out. If they only have 4 or 5 people in the box, definitely go ahead and hammer this. You can even run it if they have 6 in the box. It's a really good run play. You get really good blocking. So go ahead and start things off. The motion Z under is first play. And pretty much the one adjustment I make is I either will smoke screen Ruben Randall on the backside or I will fade Ruben Randall whether or not I want to user catch. Obviously, I just said I was trying to cut down on user catching, so more times than not I would smoke screen him. And if there's not a flat defender out there, you can immediately pass lead that down. You also have the auto motion out the backfield. As soon as the center snaps the ball, you'll be able to look. And if you don't see a flat zone out on the right, you can quick throw that Jennings route. And then after that, it's basically making reads. Generally, what I'll do is if it's man-to-man, you want to hit Beckham Jr. on his corner route, or you can hit Cruz on the in route. Sometimes you'll get good positioning. You can also throw the smoke screen. If it's zone, more times than not, you're going to hit Cruz coming to the middle. Beckham will drag the defender out towards the sideline with his corner, leaving Cruz open, or you'll be able to hit your fullback out of the backfield. So in this case, Agbanaya, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, so I'll run it a few times for you guys here. And right there, you can also, what I did right there is immediately as soon as he makes that cut upfield, you can look and see if there's a defender in that zone. If there's not, you can just go ahead and quick throw it for an easy 10 yards and definitely force your opponent to bring someone over there to guard it. So really tough to stop. Right here, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I actually threw that kind of late, and I also had the running back in the flat. But right there, that's what I was talking about with Beckham dragging the defender out towards the sideline. You can hit Cruz. Run it a few more times here. Right here against man-to-man, as I said, the corner route. If you have a really good route runner, which is why I like Beckham Jr. right there, you can also put Victor Cruz right there. He's also a really good route runner if you use the Giants. But a good route runner right there will make him get really good separation. Right there I had Beckham or Cruz, but I just went ahead and checked down to Beckham. That's kind of my comfort throw against zone. A lot of times I look for Cruz. And right there is what I was talking about. I got a pretty poor animation, but still able to get 5 yards, but if you see no one out there in the flat on Ruben Randall, you can go ahead and throw that smoke screen route. I pass lead it down, so there's a very low chance of it getting jumped and picked off. The quick audibles out of the stock playbook aren't that great. Whenever I was running it, I had a custom with custom audibles, so I think the scheme was a lot better with custom audibles, obviously. But you do have some decent ones, halfback dive and shallow cross in particular. The halfback dive is your main run play. As I was saying, right there, it kind of got blown up in the backfield, but more times than not, you'll get good yardage on this play. if you're just smart about when you run it. Right there, once again, Sean Lee got a nice block shed. There's not much you can really do about that. Obviously, against quarters 3 deep, you should have pretty big holes to run through, pick up 8 yards. But trust me when I say this is a very consistent run. And if you're spreading the field out a lot, like as you can see in the motions you underplay, you're really stretching the defense sideline to sideline since you're attacking both flats, and then you have routes over the middle. You have quick throwing routes, so they're going to be spreading their defense out a lot, and then you can start hammering it up the middle with the run game. Right there is typically what you're looking for from blocking wise with the halfback dive. That's more of an ideal scenario right there. The quick pass is slants. I don't really run this. Slants are good in the red zone in combination with the fade route, so you can get kind of that spec catch slant. I went over that in one of my other videos. If you have any questions about it, just go ahead and ask me, and I'll either make another video on it or I'll just answer your question in the comments. The deep pass is shallow cross, and this is actually another one of my favorite plays out of this formation, and pretty much I do the same thing with Randall on the left side. You can either leave him on the fade, or you can go ahead and smoke screen him, and pretty much against man-to-man, you're going to want to look for either Cruz or Beckham. Beckham is a really good read if he's got a linebacker or a safety. If he has a linebacker or a safety manned up on Beckham, he will burn his man up the sideline. You'll be able to get huge yards. If there's a corner, there's a lower risk of him burning him. Most of the time, corners will stick with them. So don't just blindly throw that and think, oh, it's man-to-man, I'm going to throw this wheel route. Don't do it. It will get picked off if they have a corner out there, especially if they have a decent nickel corner. Go ahead and make your reads. Don't make blind throws. So right there, I saw it was man-to-man. Go ahead and just check down to the drag route by Victor Cruz. That's what's good about the Giants. I like them because all their receivers are pretty speedy. Even Ruben Randall's got like 90, 91 speed, I think. So they do a really good job with these shallow crossing routes and getting good separation over the middle of the field on their defenders. Right there, you can squeeze that in. If you notice that the linebacker is out of position, Sean Lee almost made a play on it, but I saw that he was too far over to really do anything about it. Right there, go ahead and quick throw to Ruben Randall and get 8 yards, and that wasn't even an ideal animation. Sometimes you'll get a good animation where he turns upfield really quickly, and you can get upfield fast and try to make a move, and then other times you kind of a bad animation and he kind of stands there for a second. It's all variance. So far, I haven't found a way to get a really good animation every time. So you just have to, I guess, mess around with it and see what you can find. I just realized I forgot to change the play. Right there, that's kind of showcasing the Rashad Jennings route out the backfield. What I like to do right there, I'll actually show that in instant replay because that's really important in my opinion. As you can see right here, this guy, this linebacker right here, he's in a flat zone. And so if I would have just thrown this normally, Eli probably would have led him out like this way, and Jennings would have ended up just running out of bounds. I would have got like 1 or 2 yards. But I actually led it up, and so I led him up the sideline. As you can see, he was literally going parallel to the 30, and then you see him turn upfield and catch the ball at about the 35, and that linebacker wasn't out there quick enough. And that's what happens a lot with this play is unless they have their flat defender out there, unless they move him out there, or if that corner's in a flat, usually this running back can beat the linebacker to the flat, and you can pass lead that upwards and get really good positioning, get upfield, and try to make something happen. Right there, you got bottled up, but that's a 10-yard gain, so you'll take that every time. Actually, more like a 11 or 12-yard gain because Rashad Jennings was being a man, but you'll definitely take that every single time. As I was saying, shallow cross, good play, really consistent play. Right there, I could have waited for Claiborne to clear out right there, but I just kind of wanted to throw it quickly. Play action pass, PA short post, I don't really run. There's nothing really special on this play. That post route's basically a slant. You got to come back in a streak, so nothing special on here, so I don't run that particular play ever. Let's see, the other plays in the auto motion series. Motion Y stick's a good short yardage play. It's not something I run very often, but it is a good short yardage play to pull out if your opponent maybe hasn't seen it yet. Right there, I just waited for Ruben Randall because the stick on the right side was covered and there wasn't really much I could do about it. Um, right there, I noticed nobody was in the flats. And that's what will happen sometimes. Sometimes he'll lead him out of bounds like that and you'll only get 2 or 3 yards. This works best if you're on the left hash, obviously. If you're on the right hash, you can go ahead and flip it to the other side. It doesn't really matter. Right there, I saw man-to-man, so go ahead and try to hit the backside slant. Brandon Carr made a nice play and broke it up. So that's a good short yardage play. Stick's always a good short yardage play. And yeah, just don't overrun it and don't throw that hitch route blindly, because if you throw that hitch route blindly and someone jumps it, picks it off, it's probably a pick six, since the only guy back there to stop him is your quarterback. So just be careful with that. And then motion flood is the last but not least. I don't really run this one much either, mainly because it's kind of the same thing. I think motion Z under is better in every way because you get the fade route out the backfield from your fullback, and that deep post by Ruben Randall isn't very good in my opinion. It takes too long to develop. It doesn't really get open against zone, and it's kind of 50-50 against man-to-man, so it's not as reliable as I'd like. So most of the time I'll either smoke screen him or fade him anyway. So pretty much you can make this play out of Z under by just fading Victor Cruz off of his in route, and then you also have the fade out the backfield. So Z under is better in every situation in my opinion, but it's still the flood concept carries over. Right there, man to man, just go ahead and hit the corner route and get upfield. As I said, someone with really good route running, you should have confidence that when they make that break, they'll be open against man to man. I'll try and run this against zone. Right there against zone, as I said, you can pass lead that flat route up and get a really, really easy 10 yards, even more if you're on the left hash and have more room to work with. So that's it for that little motion series, and there's only a few more plays out of here that I was actually running. As I said, the lead read's good. The lead read option's good if you have a fast quarterback, and then Y cross flood is the other play. And what I was doing with Y cross flood is I would swing Jennings and create like a little makeshift screen. So against man-to-man, you want to look for either Beckham Jr. or Cruz when he cuts. A lot of people, if it's man, they'll user Beckham Jr. over the middle. They'll see him crossing. He'll always get good positioning on his guy, beat his guy, so they user him across the field, and then you're able to hit Cruz backside. That's what happened a lot with me. And then against zone, you can either hit the little makeshift screen right there to Jennings, or you can be patient and try to find a window when Beckham's open or when Cruz is open. So right there, that's a little makeshift screen. I saw they didn't really have anybody out in the flat. Let's go ahead and throw it and just try to get upfield. Got 7 or 8 yards. Not a bad play. Right here, they're in goal line, so go ahead and try to get them out of that. Let's see here. Right there, I noticed no one was in the middle of the field, and that Beckham would be wide open after he cleared that linebacker. So just went ahead and quick through that. Right here, once again, notice nobody's in the flat. And unfortunately, my fullback kind of messed up right there and came back and interrupted Rashad Jennings' route. But that's not very common for that to happen. Right there, I was under intense pressure, and not much I could do right there. Probably should have tried to hit the little swing screen. Right there, once again, swing screen. Try to get upfield. I'll go ahead and try to hit the crossing route, or I'll try to hit the post route for you guys. The post route is kind of tough because it does take a good bit of time, and right there it was like thunder smoke, so I had no time to throw the ball. But it does take a good bit of time to develop, so it's really only viable whenever they're not blitzing a lot of people. Right there, I shouldn't have thrown it. I tried to force it, but it is good as kind of a last read. Maybe if they pull the user defender out from that area and they forget about it, they follow Beckham and Cruz gets wide open. Or against man-to-man, it actually does a pretty good job of getting inside positioning. You can throw it when he cuts. So just mess around with that, get used to throwing it, and be sure not to throw interceptions like I just did. And then the last play out of here is corner strike, which I'm not really going to go over too much because it's a play that a lot of people know, that a lot of people see out of a lot of different formations. It's just not too much to talk about. Right there, against man-to-man, just wait for the C routes to cut towards the sideline. And it's an easy gain. Against zone, generally you want to read either the flat. If the flat's open, I go ahead and hit the flat. If it's not, I try to see if the C route's going to get open. If it's not, you've got Jennings on the check down, or you can start playmakering. So just something to be aware of right there. Ruben on man-to-man, cut to the sideline, easy plays if they don't have purple zones out there against man-to-man. Right there, that's an example of the check down. I just threw that just to kind of show you guys what it was. And let's see if we can. Right there, Skandrick made a nice play. I threw that a little bit too early. I felt like I was under pressure. So just wait a little bit longer against zone there before you throw that route. Let's see. Right there, Victor Cruz unfortunately wasn't able to come down with it. It's not the most consistent play ever. You do have to be careful with corners jumping those C routes against zone, so just be careful. If you practice it enough and you get confident with it, it can definitely be something good that your opponent has to adjust to. They'll start having to put both flat zones and purple zones to the sidelines. That opens up the middle of the field a lot. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was able to help you out somewhat. If you enjoyed, definitely leave a like. Let me know in the comments what I can do better, maybe what you want to see next time, guys. And until the next video, I'll see you later.